Hey honey buns, and what is up? Today we are going to be making a ostrich feather short bodycon dress. Grab your scissors and let's get started. Honey Bun TV. Okay, honey buns, everything you're going to need is going to be listed in the description box below, but you're going to need approximately 2 yards of 4-way stretch fabric, some elastic, and as well as ostrich feathers and a hot glue gun and hot glue gun sticks, okay, in whatever pattern you choose. Right now, what I am doing is I like to fold my fabric in half and cut down the middle because I feel like that gives you a lot of more fabric to work with. So once I cut this down the middle, I'm going to be left with 2 pieces. After cutting my fabric down the middle and getting 2 pieces, I'm just going to now go ahead and start cutting my front and my back. As you can see here, I'm using a bodycon dress pattern. You can use a bodycon dress that you have in your room and or a pattern, and or you can use a strapless dress that you have and or strapless dress pattern, whatever is easier for you. As you can see here, I'm cutting my pattern approximately 2 inches above where the fabric ends, and that's just me literally adding 2 inches onto my dress because I don't want it to be too short. Now, the elastic we're going to be using is about 1.5 inches, just so you know. But right here in this section, I am going to be identifying which side is my back because you want to determine how you're going to put this on, and you want to put it on the right way. Okay, so after that, now we are going to go ahead and we are going to open up both of the dresses. Now, as you can see here, at first I started off by thinking, okay, let's go up about 1.5 inches from where the bottom of the armpit is. But then I realized we don't have to do that. We can literally just fold over until we get to the bottom of the arm piece here, which you'll see me doing, and we can cut that excess. This looks a lot better, okay? And it made also sense for me to add the 2 inches on, like I was telling y'all in the beginning, because I didn't want my skirt or my dress to just be a little bit short, okay? Now, what we are going to be doing here is we are going to place the fabric right sides facing each other. And as you can see here, I still have some of that excess left above the armpit area. If you went ahead and cut it off already, perfectly fine and good. I didn't cut it off yet because I didn't realize it was a mistake until after the fact. So I'm going to be cutting that off later. But what we're going to do right now is just sew the sides. And you're going to sew the sides. If I would have cut the excess off earlier under the armpit where you see me basically following my fingers down to show you where to sew. Now, after that, you are going to take your elastic, which is about 1.5 inches. And I like to do this method because this is pretty easier than taking the measuring tape and figuring out, you know, the proper number. But you are literally going to fold your fabric over, okay? So if your chest or your bust is 35 inches, I like to take away 1.5 to 2 inches, depending on how tight you like your top or your tube tops or your tube tresses to be. It is up to you, but I typically like to take away 1.5 to 2 inches. That is for your elastic. So right now I'm literally just pinning around to hold the 2 inches that have to come over the elastic. And keep in mind, you also kind of want to make a casing like I'm doing here. So you want to sew on the outer sides of these pins. So this is my right side. I'm going to sew all the way around until we come to the left side. But I'm not going to sew this middle as of yet because my elastic needs to go in there, okay? So I'm just going to finish pinning around to hold these a couple of these inches, and then I am going to come back. So honey buns, you'll hear me say it a lot. You want to hem the bottom of your garment, and all you're going to do is literally fold in about half an inch to an inch to the bottom, and you are going to sew all around that line that you see is literally forming from folding in a half an inch to an inch, okay? After we have sewn around our pins, now we are going to take our elastic as well as a paper clip, and we are going to follow it through this little casing that we have made. Now, after that, we have literally put the paper clip on our elastic. We are just going to push it through this casing that we have made. And what I like to do is I like to hold the end to make sure that my whole elastic doesn't end up going through the dress and that whole little nonsense that goes on. So here I am doing that right now. After that, you're going to take the elastic and you are going to place the elastic on top of each other, and now you are going to sew it down. Now, after you sew it down, you are literally going to pull that elastic through. After pulling that elastic through, you want to take your fabric and pull it over, of course, and then you just want to close the casing. So you're just going to sew on top. I want to say I used approximately 12 to 16 yards of ostrich feather. It honestly depends on how much comes in a pack when you order it. But I just ordered literally 4 yards at a time, and that is how I determined how big I was going to make this bottom. So I went approximately, I want to say 4 inches from the bottom to determine, just where the ostrich feather was going to sit. And as you can see me here, I'm folding it over so I can cut out the little pieces at a time. So after I finished cutting out the pieces that I wanted to cut, which were approximately 3 inches long, I then decided where I was going to put my pin, which is 4 inches above from the bottom. You don't have to do 4 inches. You can do a little bit up depending on how far you want your ostrich feather to sit. But now I'm just going to take a piece of the ostrich feather, and then I'm going to put the hot glue gun on the silky part. And then I'm just going to fold it over to make it just a little bit small. Now, if you cut it too big, that is perfectly fine. What you are going to do is just cut half of that silky part. Not too much, but just enough where there is only a little bit of silk left. And after you have cut that piece off, you are then going to take the hot glue and you are going to place it at top, and then you are going to be putting it down on your dress bottom. Now right here I'm just showing you how small the silky part is, and now I'm going to go ahead and put some more glue on because it done dried up. But after that, literally like I said, you're just going to place it on your dress, and you want to hold it there for about 1 second to make sure that it is stuck real good. Now I'm going to do this one more time and continue until the dress is full. Now, I'm going to finish this up, honey buns, and that is going to be it. I hope to see you, honey buns, next week on Honey Bun TV. Mwah.